Hey everyone, Knowledge here with Reach Your Summit. In this video, I'm going to share a comparison and a review between two sandals, the Bedrock Cairn 3D and the Bedrock Classic LT. I'm also going to add the Bedrock Mountain Clog into the mix, so let's get into it. Alright, thank you so much for joining me. So those of you who follow my channel, who have seen my videos over the years, know that I'm a big fan of minimal footwear, of zero drop footwear. Over the years, I've been wearing a lot of ultra shoes out on the trail for through hikes, backpacking trips, day hikes, and everything in between, with a couple of my go-tos being the Lone Peak series and also the King MT2. I have videos on those shoes on this channel, so I'll leave some of those in the video description below, so you can check that out whenever you'd like. Over the years, I've also worn shoes like the Merrell Trail Glove, the Merrell Vapor Glove, the Zero Mesa Trail, and some other minimal footwear. I had always been intrigued a little with hiking with sandals. So that led me to my first pair of Bedrock sandals, which I bought at the beginning of last year. I've put about 400 miles on this pair since. Been really happy with them, though they're not always going to be my first choice for footwear. Sometimes they might not be suitable for things that are really technical or for through hikes or really long distances. I most likely will still go with a low profile non-waterproof trail runner like the King MT2 or the Lone Peaks. After having such a great experience with these Cairn 3Ds, I ended up picking up a pair of the Classic LTs. They are significantly different. Each sandal will have its best uses, it'll have its benefits, its drawbacks. So I'm going to go into that now in this comparison. Then we'll go into the Mountain Clog just a little bit. And toward the end of this video, I'll share a couple of pros and cons with all of you when it comes to hiking in sandals, at least what I've found. So you'll notice the Cairn series has a wider nylon strap compared to the Classic. The Classic is a lot thinner. The Classic is also going to be a lot more minimal, a lot more simpler. Cairn series has a little bit more going on with it. So the Cairn series has a 16 millimeter stack height, so 3 millimeters less than the King MT2. A really nice 3-point adjustment system for a good fine-tuned fit. Has a really nice Vibram outsole, which I've found to provide a good amount of traction. Works really well in mud, roots, rocks. It also works pretty well in wet conditions, though there is a different model known as the Pro version, which will have a slightly stickier rubber outsole from Vibram, the Vibram Mega Grip. Though I haven't had any major issues with this on the trail when it's wet out. The Cairn is also going to be very rigid, has some flexibility to it, but that rigidness and structure gives you a good amount of that additional root and rock protection compared to something that's a lot more flexible and less structured with the Classic LT. So the Cairn that I have here, you have a buckle on the inside here on the medial side for adjustment. There's also Velcro strap for around the back of the heel, and some nylon webbing with a buckle on the outside. And that's the one that I adjust the most. I don't really fuss with the other two too much. Once you get the fit dialed in, I've found that I don't need to adjust them at all. So it's only this outside here that I use to adjust it, to tighten it, to loosen it when I want to get the sandal off quickly. Overall, it is very secure. I also find it to be a little bit more comfortable just because of the wider surface area that's in contact with my foot. Along with wearing these up in the White Mountains in New Hampshire, Vermont's Long Trail, the Appalachian Trail, a lot of stuff in southern New England. I wear these as daily sandals and also around town at times. So the 400 miles that I mentioned is specifically trail miles, and then I've added on some additional mileage with just everyday use. I've worn these with Injinji toe socks without any issues. I also wear them without toe socks. and I find them to be comfortable either way. And the total cost for the Cairn 3D is $125. And a pair of these on my scale for my size weigh around 18 ounces. Bedrock has a nice foot measurement template on their website for the various sizes. I typically wear a size 11 for a lot of ultra footwear, including the Lone Peak, and I went with a size 11 for the Cairn 3D. The Classic LT is very simple. There's just one adjustment to secure and loosen around the foot, and then you can push or pull the heel loop through and the rest of the strap through the platform of the sandal to get it nice and snug along the back of the heel. Though there is a thinner nylon strap, Bedrock does a really nice job at adding some bicycle inner tube around the sandal to give you a little bit of grip, just so that webbing isn't sliding around at all. I find it to be very secure. So the stack height with these is 8 millimeters. You get a lot more ground feel with this. It still has a Vibram outsole, though it is going to be very different from what you get with the Cairn sandals. Though it is very different, I do still use this on trail as a light hiking sandal, so nothing too technical or long distance. Still haven't had any major issues with traction with this. This is designed more as a running sandal, and I do a fair amount of running, though I haven't run a lot in this so far. I've mostly used this in town for a daily sandal for light hiking. Works really well. Do get a good amount of protection, really good ground feel, nice and light. I went with men's size 11 for these as well, and on my scale they weigh about 9 ounces for the pair, so half the weight of the Cairn sandals. Total cost is $70 for these. I have a lot less mileage on these than I do with the Cairns, but I've been really happy with them so far. The Mountain Clog is based off of the sandals, though there are some significant differences, mostly in the upper material. So you have a full upper in the shape of a clog. There are different materials you can go with for this. I went with the leather suede and sagebrush, and I treated it with Nick Wax so it doesn't stain. It has some water repellency. There's a nice robust toe guard in the front, similar to what you would get with a climbing shoe or a mountaineering shoe. So really good toe protection, good durability with that. The overall platform is going to be just like the sandals, so very similar and familiar fit and feel. I find it to be really comfortable, and I've worn this clog with socks, but I also wear them without socks. This is more something that I wear every day, or if I'm out traveling somewhere. I've also worn these cycling. They provide a little bit of insulation, so I find them to be really nice when it's cooler out. Provides a bit more comfort. The adjustment system on the Mountain Clog is similar to the Cairn sandals, so you have that 3-point adjustment. So again, the G-hook buckle on the inside for adjustment. You also have the G-hook buckle on the back with various loops for adjustment around the heel, and then the webbing with the buckle on the outside. And that's, again, the only one that I really use for adjustments. Once the other two are set and you get the fit dialed in, I haven't really needed to adjust them at all. The outsole for these uses the Vibram Mega Grip. So out of all of the Bedrock lineup, you're getting the superior traction with these. Very similar to what you get with the Cairn Pros. And I find this to be really great on wet terrain, sheds mud really well, good traction on roots and rocks. You can wear these on trail as well as just an everyday or town shoe. They are a bit heavier though, so my pair on my scale weighs 24 ounces. The total cost for the pair is $160, and the stack height is going to be 16 millimeters. I sized up to a men's size 12, and I find it to be a lot more accommodating and a lot more comfortable. They're pretty stiff, a little stiffer than the Cairn sandals, but not too much. And overall, I've been really happy with these so far too. A couple of things that really led me to Bedrock sandals. First, when I was looking at a hiking sandal or an adventure sandal, I really loved the ruggedness of the Bedrocks. They look very secure, and I found that to be true. But more importantly, their resole program was something that really intrigued me. It's something that aligned with some of my values. So at any point in time, if you have any issues with your Bedrock sandals or they just wear out, Bedrock will replace the webbing, they'll replace the outsole, they'll do repairs for you for a lower cost fee compared to buying a new pair. They're doing their best to keep any waste out of landfills, and that's something that I really like. Now, those sandals and footwear in general are going to be very subjective, very different for each of us. Some pros to hiking in sandals, aside from the minimalism and simplicity, which are also values that align with myself and my type of hiking style. You get great ventilation with these, obviously, because your feet are out in the open, so it helps reduce blistering. If it rains, your feet are going to breathe and dry very fast. I also love the closer connection to the trails and the terrain that I'm hiking in, even more so with the Classic LT. I just really love that ground feel, but you will feel a lot of roots and rocks under your foot. So this is not for everyone. If you're looking for a camp shoe that you can walk around and do light hiking in, this might be a great option. But if you want something with a bit more structure, a bit more protection underfoot, then the Cairn sandal is going to be the better option. Along with them being wet, they are going to dry very fast. And if they get really dirty, they're very easy to clean. I can spray them down, let them dry, and I'm good to go. And lastly, the lightness. Not so much with these. You can definitely get a pair of trail running shoes that are a bit lighter than the Cairn sandals, but these Classic LTs will certainly be lighter than a lot of shoes. Biggest drawback to hiking in sandals is going to be the exposure of your foot. Though I haven't had any major issues with it, it is a very valid concern. Your foot is more exposed, can be more likely to stub a toe or hurt yourself. But I found so far that hiking in sandals, I'm a lot more aware of my surroundings. I'm a lot more focused. I feel a lot more connected to the terrain. And I haven't had any major issues with stubbing my toe or getting any type of injury yet on the trail with wearing sandals. But in very rugged, rooty, rock-filled terrain, do lose that protection and security that you get with a shoe. And that's why I might still wear a trail running shoe on my backpacking trips or my thru hikes. So if I were to pick one of these, overall, if I could only have one, which one would it be? I'd be leaning more toward the Classic LT. I really love the ground feel, the minimalism, the lightweight, the simplicity of it. This would be my preferred sandal. Again, that's also because I wear trail runners on a lot of my backpacking trips and my thru hikes. I haven't done a thru hike in a sandal yet. Never say never. It's always a possibility. But at this time, I would have to go with the Classic LT. This is a great sandal for around town, for travel, nice and light and compact. These certainly have their own specific look, with this one being more of an adventure sandal, a lot more rugged, robust, and great for multi-use. Looks a bit nicer out in town if you are wearing it. Adventure sandals have become very popular on trails and in towns. Along with Bedrock, you also have Ativas and Chaco, Birkenstock, and a whole bunch of other brands. So either or even the Mountain Clogs, they are all fantastic pairs of footwear. And I hope that this video helped you out a bit if you are looking at getting a pair of their footwear. I think you would be very happy with any of these. I know I have, and I'm looking forward to putting many more miles in with all of these. If you have any questions on the Classic LT, the Cairn, the Mountain Clog, anything else in this video or anything else in my other videos, please feel free to leave them in a comment below, or you can contact me at any time at reachyoursummit.net. I will be putting out my annual video for a gear update for 2025 sometime in the next 2 or 3 months. Been putting a lot of mileage in on some new and interesting gear this year, but also a lot of old favorites. And I'll certainly be including the Bedrock Sandals a little bit in that video too. So check back to the channel and hit the notification bell. Subscribe to this channel as I'm always adding new content to it. If you really enjoyed this video, hit the like button and let me know. And if any of you have been wearing any of the Bedrock Sandals or the Mountain Clogs, let me know in the comments below as well. I'd love to hear what your experience has been like with them. I want to thank you all for your time. I greatly appreciate you stopping by and watching this video. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all enjoying some time out on the trail. And until the next one, see you out there.